But I feel like a lot of people whine about it, but don't actually do anything about it. And so a lot of people, and some people are in bad situations. There's nothing they can do. But mindset and attitude, I think, are the two missing pieces in most people's problems.
Unemployment. Okay, so we've been talking about this. I have, at least. I don't know if you've added to this conversation ever. You probably did, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But when you, let's say you have 100 people, okay,
Okay.
and there's 98 jobs, okay,
Okay.
and now as every month goes on, one less job is available, right? So month number 2, there's 97 jobs. But guess what? 10 more guys just showed up, right? And they need money because they're broke. So they're looking for a job, right? And then the next month you got 96 jobs available, but fuck, 30 more guys just showed up, right?
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, like all the jobs disappear, right? There's like 50 jobs left and 300 guys just showed up yesterday. All right.
Okay. I think I get the point here.
How do you trust the old way of looking at the economy and the slice of, first of all, GDP should be gone. It should be GDP per capita, but also like unemployment. Of course, unemployment's going to spike and go crazy. You got all these people here now, and nobody's got jobs available for them. How can
Mm.
that not happen? Right. So it's like we didn't just add a billion people and the economy's softening and the jobs are disappearing, right? Like that's a fuck up on its own. But the economy's slowing and we're doing it, right? It's slowing, the jobs are disappearing, and they're ramping up the immigration. So how do you
Mm.
go, well, immigration's up at like 12% or 10%, whatever the fake number they're throwing at us is. How do you give that any weight nowadays?
So you're trying to say, how are we going to accept the old way of doing things in today's world, which is clearly not the same as it was before?
I suppose in a roundabout way, I'm saying that, TK.
Well, then you adapt, okay?
You
Because
adapt.
I'm sorry, I don't have that part of me for my own personal self. Not everybody else has got their own stories, and everyone else has got their own limitations and ideas and all that kind of stuff. But the second that I'm faced with a challenge, no matter what it is, I need to find a solution that's going to be able to help me achieve my goals. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, and maybe somebody that means like working more hours. Maybe it means cutting back on expenses. Maybe it means having one less girlfriend or, not going out to eat that night. Like, figure it out, guys.
Maybe it
It's not,
means renting out your bathroom for 550 a month.
that's
Did you see
extreme, but maybe
that?
renting out your basement, maybe downsizing. Like I'm dealing with a guy right now who can afford his home, can move to a much less expensive neighborhood, you know, and free up some equity and stuff like that because he knows that his renewal is coming up. And so basically his situation is I know once I renew that this home is going to put a lot of stress on me and I'm not going to be able to live the lifestyle that I want. And instead of me taking the $1,500 a month out of my lifestyle and putting it into mortgage payments, I've got the option to move and go
I've
into a
got the
lesser home
option to
because the home
move.
that I've got is too big for me right now. And so I went over all those options with him to figure out if that's, really what's best for him or not. But he's actually contemplating that.
But should we not be, if we're really looking out for those people's best interests, should they
Yeah.
be buying something again? Like maybe they
In his
just
case, because he's just
shouldn't
got so
buy.
much equity and so much buying power, it does make sense. But he's in a really good spot and he's in a really good area and he's got, an expensive home. And so he could be, simplifying his life. And so he could do everything that he needs to do. The space that he uses in his house, he'll still have in a new house. There's literally nothing that he's giving up. So for him, that's what it's called. It's called sacrifice. It's called adapting. It's called restructuring. And it means that, he's willing to do what it takes. Otherwise, again, I'm a jerk sometimes when I say these type of things, but I feel like a lot of people whine about it, but don't actually do anything about it. And so a lot of people, and some people are in bad situations. There's nothing they can do. But mindset and attitude, I think, are the two missing pieces in most people's problems, right?
Mindset doesn't change that all of a sudden there's a whole new nation in the country, right?
Okay, I get it.
That
But
I
if you're
mean,
competing
it's
with
one
if you're
thing to,
competing with people for a job,
yeah.
no, you need to look within and say to yourself, like, why don't I have the job that I want to have? Why don't I have the job that I think I deserve and take responsibility for it? Like I got a lot of things in my life I don't have. There's a ton of things in my life where I'm like, geez, I think I should have this and deserve that.
When
And I
did
don't sit around going like,
hold on,
damn those
mister,
immigrants,
listen to me.
man, that government, how come
Listen
they
to
did
this
it
though.
to me?
TK, when in
Yeah.
your lifetime ever
Yeah.
did you have to find a job when you were competing with people that were subsidized by the government by such an extreme amount of the
Okay.
income, right? So it's like,
Okay.
should
Like,
we take TK and pay
okay. Well, like,
full price, or should we take Muhammad and Jagmeet and get
sure.
two for the price of, you get four for the price of one, I think is the
I
way
don't
it
know if
works, right?
anybody has been in that situation ever. I'm not sure, but I definitely haven't,
You
obviously.
haven't. I
So
definitely
I don't
didn't.
even know if that's a true scenario.
That's now with these DEI workers that get
They can get four
subsidized
people. Okay, you can get subsidized. I get that.
75%. Yeah. Well,
75%. Okay. So,
75%. So that means you're
okay.
paying 25% for each one. That's four for the price of one.
Oh, that seems extreme if they're doing that. And that could be
Look
true.
at Tim Hortons, man. That's what everybody's freaking out about, is that you can't get a job because they're only hiring. Did you notice, TK? Not every Tim
That's not
Hortons,
new.
but this is the job
But
market. And
okay,
this
but
is the incentives for these big companies. And that's why all the giant companies are
yeah,
hiring people from not here, right?
yeah.
Because there's a very large incentive to do it, right?
So when
And
you do
so
all your projects, Daryl, for your businesses, where
yeah,
do you hire people from?
currently, so they're, I've said it before, like my tech thing, I mean, they're coming here for jobs and I'm hiring people over there, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what currently makes
So that's what
sense.
businesses do.
That's what businesses are
Okay.
doing, right?
So like why is anybody upset about that?
I don't know why people are
They're
upset
upset
about it,
because they right now because they can't get
other
that
than the
job.
fact that they
You know,
can't afford anything, right?
they
I
can't get
mean,
that job. They
I
can't get
can't
that job.
figure
They
it
can't get
out.
that job.
They
And so they're
can't
saying to
get
themselves,
money, so they're
it's
not
got to be
happy.
because the big companies are getting subsidized workers, so that way they're getting four workers for the price of
No,
me.
you
And
know
oh
what?
my gosh, and I'm not
I'm gonna
willing to
pull up
work
my
for
socks
a
and
quarter.
what? I'm gonna pull up my
Listen,
socks and come
but
from
the jobs
India,
that those jobs that people are fighting for
work harder.
are at the lower end of the job pool.
Ah, so
That's
we
why
need to
those
set
people
our
coming
sights
in here
higher.
are qualified for that type of work.
A
And I'm
little
not
bit of
saying that,
OSAP debt.
and I'm
Need
such
to
a
add
jerk
a
for
little
saying this, and I'm
OSAP
going to
debt.
get, whatever into it. But, maybe you should think about
Heartless, TK.
raising the
It's
bar, going to
heartless.
school, and trying to find something and building some skills. Maybe the
TK,
decisions you made in the
what a
past that put you
disaster.
in this position that
School
you are
is a
still looking for a
horrible.
minimum wage job at 40 years old, which God bless them. And there's everybody has in their family. There's plenty of failures in my own and my family's life in every stretch of the imagination. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying like I'm insensitive or I don't know, but it's
No,
just
you're just
taking
coming
personal
through.
responsibility. You have to take personal responsibility.
You do, but
Okay,
TK,
but you don't go on Twitter and complain about it and then tell everybody that the
well,
government's the problem,
this
even though
isn't really
they are.
effective.
It's
No,
not like I'm saying that they aren't.
there's lots of people that are complaining that only, clicked a few buttons on the computer and thought that they applied for 2,000 jobs. This is a
Okay.
problem, right? There's
Yeah.
definitely people that are sitting on TikTok for hours a day complaining or watching other people complain about not even getting a job. There's a lot of not effort, but the pool is so huge and the
Mm.
well is drying up daily that, and then on top of it, the economy is shrinking and profits are disappearing. I mean, it's a no-brainer for a Canadian Tire and a Tim Hortons and a McDonald's to take these subsidies. So now my kid, if he goes out there to get a summer job somewhere, I mean, I don't know, maybe he has to go to Timmins. I noticed there's definitely a difference up north in the Tim Hortons staff than there is in Toronto and in Brampton and, places closer to Toronto. So there's definitely like a weird imbalance in the job market. And then there's probably guys that, like, the owners of the franchise are just like, I'm hiring like these people and I'm just taking the lump because of, whatever. They want to be rah, rah, rah and local or racist or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what it is, right? To want to give, local kids jobs is like racist all of a
They should.
sudden.
No, they should. Of course, they should
Fucking
support
racist.
locals.
Because why
Yeah.
the hell are you hiring locals only, you bastard? Why is everybody white in here? That's not a good thing either, TK.